Hello, everyone. I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
And this is Millennial and Mom. And in today's video, we are back to recap 90 Day Fiancé the other way. Season 2, Episode 9, Crossing the Line.
You know, the only couple I could see crossing the line, maybe two. We'll talk about them upcoming, but for this to be episode 9, I mean, did they run out of gas in the first 8 episodes? Because this one seemed a little long-winded to me and slightly boring.
It did. So, let's get into review. So for our first couple that we're going to talk about is Ariella and Binyam.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you surprised to see both of them in the mom's hotel room?
No. You
Why
were
not?
surprised? Why not? Because what episode was that when I asked whose shoes were those? I don't know, but whatever it was, the mom clearly looked around. Maybe in her mind was like, whose shoes, whose whatever is in here. Ariella can't stay in here, so how about you come to the hotel?
Not that, but also the starter up, aka the remodel apartment that he said he was having.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess her mom was not feeling it at all. But we finally got to see them go to the hospital where she wants to give birth at.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Ariella's mom was not the only one who was surprised that they had high-tech gear, they had a midwife, everything pleasant in an American hospital was in an Ethiopian hospital.
Well, I don't know if it was high tech, but it was modern. They had modern conveniences in the hospital with, modern medicine, IV drips if needed, different kind of ways to help her if she bled out, midwives, things like that. So, but Ariella did say, don't be afraid of what's on the outside, is what's on the inside. And it was really nice. The only difference was, she may have labored, or when she does go into labor, in a room with up to 3 women. But, they were saying how, well, what if we get a private room? And of course that's extra. And I'm sure she'll have a private room.
Yeah, but I also thought it was nice that they had a convenience of a yoga ball in the room. Because I don't think I've ever been in a hospital room for someone who I know was giving birth had a yoga ball.
Well, I guess it depends on how far along you're in labor. When you're actively in labor and pushing, you're not on no labor ball. You're in some stirrups.
Were you in a labor ball?
No. Maybe for people who have home births, that's probably more natural, but I've never seen it either. And I wouldn't have done a labor ball because that wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for that epidural.
But later on in the episode, we see Ariella's mom grilling, just interrogating Binyam. And one of the questions that stood out to me the most was, well, actually 2. One was she talked about his ex-wife and how their relationship ended. Mm-hmm. And he just seemed like he didn't know what happened. She just went back to America. They had a little argument. He said sorry.
I mean,
even though he didn't know what he was sorry about.
I wouldn't say Ariella's mom is grilling him. I mean, she's asking questions she's supposed to know.
I think so. Well, I didn't get to my question number 2 yet.
No, but what you said was, she did ask. Because if you don't ask, how are you supposed to know? I mean, that's what I always say to you and your brother. Mm-hmm. If you don't ask, how is she supposed to know? And then I'm here with my daughter in a third world country, and you've already showed me the places she's supposed to be living at, and then the hospital, on the route to the hospital. So I want to know a little bit about your background, because as moms, we know that our kids don't tell us everything.
I'm sure that was the case with Ariella too. But the second question that got me was when she asked Binyam, so was this your plan to knock up another American girl? That's when I had to pump the brakes.
Why?
Because Ariella pursued Binyam. Binyam just so happened to luck up and get an American girl.
If you say so. I mean, that is Ariella's story, and we haven't really heard the background of Binyam. I mean, that's what he says, and I don't think his English, as he's saying, would support the real reason why. Mm-hmm. Just by the questions he was trying to answer when they first got there till now. But I think the mom was in the right. Now, I do believe Ariella told her mom about the first wife and the other baby, because how else would she know? But What else could you think? Like, is this your ticket for another opportunity or what?
I don't know. I just feel like Ariella's mom was just going in a little too hard on Binyam. Because, like, what about Ariella? You know, she found love with the dreads and the abs.
Ariella has found love several times for all the places she's been freelance writing too. So her mom knows that she's a freelance writer and a free spirit. So she just wanted to know who this man was for her daughter and the soon-to-be grandbaby.
That's true. If anything, I do agree with the point of when she was grilling him about his jobs. Because all of his jobs, as Mom said earlier, and I agree now, are just hobbies.
Exactly. I've always thought they were hobbies. I mean, where'd you find out they were jobs?
I just thought some of them were jobs. But now hearing how some of them are hobbies and how hobbies can't really support the family and the baby, you know, Ariella might need to invest a little bit more time, especially because her mom felt like she left such a privileged life.
Well, Ariella probably did leave her privileged life. I mean, if her mom said so, probably so, helping her with her dreams and ambitions. But Ariella was sitting there thinking, you know, I probably have to support us both. She knew that already. She knew that because of conditions. She was trying to prep her mom into the conditions before they moved there. So she knew this, in my opinion.
So next we saw Tim and Melissa. And Tim came with his comfort cat because we don't know what his name is.
He said the name, but I still didn't pick it up. So it will be, till further notice, the comfort cat.
And Melissa came with her 2 dogs. Tim was excited, but he was nervous because he didn't know how she would react since, you know, the last time they was really in each other's presence was the whole cheating fiasco. But nonetheless, Melissa seemed like she was happy to see the comfort cat first and then Tim second.
They were both nervous and apprehensive. I think Tim said it was like been 7 months or something. But not only was it apprehension, there was standoffishness.
Like tension?
Yeah, and it mainly came from Melissa, in my opinion.
You know what? I would have to agree with you. Because after they got all their stuff barely packed up in that little compact car, and eventually they went to go sit down and have a dinner, Melissa was still holding on to all of that anger. And to me, you know, I can understand why she would feel that way because no one wants to be cheated on. But for him to finally, you know, uproot his life to come here for you, even though I agree with the mom on the last episode, I still feel like she shouldn't be going this hard at him, still asking all these questions, still holding on to all this anger, because if you truly want to move on, you really have to let all of that anger go and accept the peace, or else, you know, it's going to be the same result.
It's going to be the exact same result, the exact same tension, everything. And that's true. I mean, the trip wasn't a, hey, I'm coming to Colombia tomorrow. This trip has been in the works for some time. So if they haven't already, they should have planned the trip together, where he was going to stay, what he would be doing, if there was any job opportunities, things like that, and talk through their issues because, again, he has uprooted his life to come to Colombia to let you know that this is what he wants. And to come and feel that standoffishness is not a good thing because Tim picked up on that. He said he doesn't understand why they have to keep talking about this. It's been over a year and we've talked about this to nauseam. And I'm like, yeah, because even now I'm tired of hearing about this because there's nothing that's new that's come up. It's just like, you cheated, why? He cheated, I don't know why. He cheated, and it's tiring.
So now, once again, going back to Mom's point in earlier videos, you just hitting all the nails.
I'm telling you, it's a mom's season this season.
You know, while Tim was in therapy, she should have been in therapy herself.
No, she didn't want therapy because she thinks only he was wrong. True, he was wrong, but as a couples therapy. They could have Skyped a couples therapy because, you know, she even has her mom saying, well, you know, I hope he changes to come. Like, even the mom is already, like, anti-Tim now. So, what is he walking into?
It's a mess.
All right, so we're back to Kenny and Armando. So, they're still walking around the town, getting to see the sights, see what's around, see what's not. Kenny is trying to get Armando to have PDA. And Armando's not trying to have that. I mean, you can see people on the sidewalk looking. But here's the thing before I continue. Why are they walking in the middle of the street?
Because that's just where they're walking, Mom.
I mean, the middle of the street, they can walk on the sidewalk.
That was your only question?
I was just curious why they was in the middle of the street.
Well, my question was, even though Armando later on touched on this point, is why is Kenny being so forceful upon having PDA with each other in a town that he, from Armando's viewpoint, already told him aren't really accepting of it? Like, his own father couldn't even come to send him off.
Kenny's not trying to hear that. He's like, okay, I'm here now, came to Florida to be with you. Eventually, he wants to ask Armando to get married. And he's hoping that, you know, since they're together, trying to build a life, that they can be affectionate no matter where they are, whether at home or out. Because he said people just need to accept it no matter what. And Kenny's just like, it is what it is. And Armando's still like, no, it's not for me. I need more time to get to the place you are. Armando said, you know, you've been out longer than I have. And Kenny was like, I've been out longer than you've been alive. I was like, woo. If you think about it that way, I guess so. But the point was, Armando said, I just came out. It's going to take me time to get to the place where you are. Like, don't rush me. He understands Kenny's wanting to have all that, but he's just not ready.
Yeah, I really appreciated Armando in this episode because he was really laying down all the facts. And I'm surprised, well, no, I'm not. I'm not surprised that Kenny was being so oblivious to this, because Kenny is starting to remind me of Brittany and how he's just viewing other people's cultures and how they should just be so accepting to his culture since he's coming from America. And that's not how it works.
The conversation comes up of, well, how do you think things are going to be when I meet your family? Because when you came, your father didn't say goodbye to you. Do you think they'll be open when I come? Because we want to live our life together openly in a committed relationship, and I want them to accept me. Do you think that they will? And Armando's like, yeah, they probably will. But, you know, he gave that hesitation. And I could understand that with Armando. I mean, they barely accepted him saying that he wanted to be with a man.
And that was the second time he said that.
Yeah, so him bringing a man home is a whole different dynamic. So we'll have to definitely see how this plays out. Okay, so we're back to Devon and Jihoon. So it's the next morning now. Devon takes the kids and her mom to show her mom that Korea isn't just what she thinks it is, and not that neighborhood they just happen to be in, but takes her to the Korean market where they have, of course, fish and seafood and regular meat and toys, things to sell, all that stuff. And her mom's looking around, you know, she's having a good time. Well, it looks like it anyways.
I feel like Drusilla was having a good time. Not only was she having a good time, but she was so calm in this episode. Even though I kind of felt like she was looking at all the food like they were at a pet store. Want to pet everything and touch everything.
Well, like an aquarium, like. I don't think that she's been to Korea before, so this is her first time probably seeing those things like in front of her face, because she was like, oh, I want it. I'm like, no, you can't have it. But Devon ends up buying a fish. I'm hoping that fish was for dinner.
I'm sure it was for dinner. It was a dead fish, Mom. But I'm really happy that Devon could find her voice a little bit and actually, you know, translate her way through Korea, even though she's now with Jihoon. The base behind this episode is Devon wants to get behind why Jihoon has lied to her again, and why is his mom holding out all the money, because she's going to go back to America. And while I do give some points for Devon for learning Korean, I'm actually kind of annoyed with Devon this season because, you know, yes, Jihoon did lie to you and all the other stuff that comes with it. But her keep threatening to go back to America to him, I don't think it's really healthy and working for them. And plus, I'm still stuck on her buying a whole apartment and they're not staying in that apartment. Like, how big is her mom's hotel room to fit all of them compared to that apartment that they got?
I don't know, but it's not healthy that she keeps threatening to be like, I'm going back to America, going back to America. My thing is just go back.
Right. Stop saying it. Just go back if you really mean that. And don't threaten him not to see or talk to his child again because you're mad he has a part-time job. At least this time when you came around, he has a job. It seems like Jihoon is actually trying more this season compared to last season.
or seasons past. But, Devon's mom, when she tells her that she's going to meet Jihoon and his family for dinner later, her mom was like, pretty much, I don't know what you're waiting on. You just need to be on the next plane to America. And then when Devon said, I would go, but our money is in his mom's bank account, I'm like, what do you mean our money? Like, your money is in that bank account too? Because if you set up that apartment, how come you don't have a bank account in Korea or traveler's checks or cash? But whatever. Now, later that evening, Devon is at Jihoon's parents' house.
So their conversation starts off with Jihoon, just basically trying to explain how sorry he is and how he's still going to get a job. But Devon's just like, no, this is what you were saying the last time I was here before I even got here.
She was.
You tricked me. You scammed me into coming here. And while they're translating and his father finds out that his mom was keeping money in the bank account, he was not pleased with it. I was like, oh, I thought they all knew.
I thought so too.
So that was interesting. And his dad was like, no, you need to apologize right now. But a lot of the translations was getting lost in translation.
Yeah, because the longer that you talk on the app, it says like some random stuff, didn't it? I was like, what?
Right. So this was frustrating Jihoon. And while this was frustrating Jihoon, he's not translating. So he's just saying everything in Korean. His mom's snickering. Devon's like, this is not a joke. Like, this is real life. Like, you basically ruined my life.
That's when Jihoon got up, walked away. And she's like, what? Like, what did I say? What did I do? And the mom's looking, she's looking. And
baby sleep.
I don't necessarily disagree that Jihoon got up and walked away, because he was frustrated just from the whole conversation in general, and then from the events that happened the day before. So it's just a whole ball of emotions for Jihoon. And I can see him stepping away. There's nothing wrong with that. But the mom snickering and acting like, Devon should just accept the things that's going on just in all their conversations, that's not right. And Devon could feel that energy.
Yeah, it's not that she has to accept everything that he's been giving her so far, because it really hasn't been a lot. It's just the fact that, maybe Devon should take a step back and look at herself like, well, what is she doing too in this situation? Because keep telling this man you're going to go back to America. Like he said, he's like, well, go back to America then, if that's how you really feel.
Yeah.
So all around, it's just, it doesn't seem like it's progressing anywhere.
No, it's not progressing. It's just another couple that also needs couples counseling.
Last couple we saw was Brittany and Jason. Now, they didn't have too much of a scene this episode, and I'm okay with that. Because I just really still don't see Brittany and Jason working out. So when they went to go meet with the uncle to try to convince his dad that they should work out, I was looking around and I'm thinking maybe Brittany thinks or thought that she can, maneuver her way doing what she does with her rapping and her provocative clothing in Jordan is because, maybe how some of the other girls might dress in a certain part of town.
That's a good analogy. I wouldn't have used the word maneuver. My word was manipulate the situation. Because that's exactly what it is. She thinks, in my opinion, again, that she feels that she can do what she wants. She's an aspiring rapper. She's maybe a aspiring model, trying to get all these things done because her man's in Jordan. She's been in Jordan. Money girl, we heard your song. But the point is, you are here again for reasons that you say that you love Yasmin, but you coming was a reason to get married. And that's what his family wants. I mean, you want his uncle. Well, let me stop there. You want Yazan to convince his uncle, to convince his parents that you really do want to marry him, but not right now, because it's buying you time. And you don't even know how much time you really have. And that's what I don't like about Brittany, because she's trying to get over and get things done her way, and it's not working.
You just said it all for me.
Well, the uncle goes on to tell Yazan too that, he'll talk to the parents, but, there's no guarantee.
Yazan wasn't translating it all, though. He was basically translating it for Brittany so she can be comfortable because, though his uncle did say, there's no pressure to convert, it doesn't mean that she should have changed how she looks and how she moves because they still want her to do that. And on top of that, Yazan told Brittany that the uncle already talked to his parents and his uncle didn't talk to them yet.
Well, it seems that most people who have to translate what they want to translate, or may not have the best English to translate. But I do think he's giving Brittany bits and pieces of the positive things, because he wants Brittany to be there too for his own personal reasons as well. But if it turns out that the uncle goes talk to the parents and the parents happen to change their mind, and I don't think his mom will.
His mom is not moving a muscle.
I think this relationship is over. I personally think it's over anyways, because that divorce is not going to be final for a while. So I don't even know why she's even continuing this. She just might as well pack up her bags and go home.
All right, everyone. So that was the end of this week's episode. And as Mom said earlier, this episode was kind of boring and was a little long. However, I am excited for next week to see Tim and Melissa, and also Binyam and his ex-girlfriend, aka the dancing partner.
Next week, I'm looking forward to see Jenny and Samit. And also Brittany and Yazan, to see if the conversation with the uncle is going to go anywhere.
Well, let us know what you guys thought about this week's episode and what you think is going to happen in next week's episode. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and you also share this video to other people who watch 90 Day Fiancé, and you also become one of our wonderful subscribers.
Thank you all for watching, and as always, live simply, be grateful.